The man was shocked to find that the sky seemed to have changed in a bizarre way. He rushed to the open space in his backyard to get a better look, but he found that the sky over the town was covered with a black fog, and what made him feel even more strange, the winds blowing around him also defied scientific reasoning. They were converging on the center of the storm in the opposite direction, but it didn't take long for the wind to stop. It was as if someone had suddenly pressed the pause button, but the anomaly in the sky still did not dissipate. It even began to gather energy. Then several lightning bolts struck down violently. This bizarre scene shocked everyone in the city. Jack didn't realize the seriousness of the situation at first. He didn't realize that a terrible disaster was about to strike. It wasn't until the sound of thunder close at hand. He panicked and hid in his room with his daughter, and the weirdness continued unabated. As he watched the sudden explosion of thunder outside the house, Jack reassured his daughter not to be afraid, because lightning never strikes the same place twice. But as soon as the words left his mouth, the lightning continued to strike in the same spot. This is something that would never happen in the past. They were so frightened that they hid under the table and shivered. But the lightning strike ended much sooner than they expected. Soon there was no movement outside. Jack then dared to take a careful look, but he soon realized something was wrong. The lightning had not only paralyzed the electrical system, it even caused problems with all electronic devices including cell phones. Jack then stepped out of the house to check. He found that all the cars on the street were paralyzed, lost. The mechanic across the street told him that all the starters had been burned out instantly, and that even a new one wouldn't help. Jack casually reminded him to try a new coil, and that simple act could save the lives of his entire family. Everyone came to the spot where the lightning struck. They find a deep crater has been blown out. Jack carefully picks up a piece of debris and examines it. He expected the gravel to be hot from the electric shock, but the stone was unusually cold to the touch. Just when the crowd was puzzled, the pit beneath them suddenly rattled. Then cracks began to appear, and spread rapidly in all directions. As the cracks continued to extend, it tore through all the nearby buildings. Then the ground shook again, and in an instant a huge depression was formed. Then under the shocked gaze of all the people, the original depression suddenly bulged upwards. It seemed like something alive was about to break out of the ground. The situation became more and more strange and dangerous. Even the car that fell into the pit was ejected in an instant. In front of everyone's incredulous eyes, a huge triangular monster came out of the ground. Humans were as small as ants in front of the monster. Everyone was terrified and tried to flee the scene, but after a long time there was no next move from the monster. Only once in a while would it emit an ear-piercing honk. People's intense curiosity gradually overcame reason. The bold ones stopped to watch. Some even came forward to videotape it, and it turned out that this man was the monster's first victim. Lightning struck, only the camera left in his hand fell to the ground.